Well, since I usually leave the preaching to the preachers, but since we're in the Lord's house, certainly give glory to God for having us here. That's the closest I'm getting. This is a very serious issue, and it's unfortunate that we have to come together at difficult times. Today I spoke to the Chamber of Commerce about the state of the county and talked mostly about economic issues, but I also talked about these issues that we're facing here today, and because they're inseparable. And I just have a couple of observations. I'm mostly here to listen, as I know all of us are, and I'm delighted to see our whole legislative team, the prosecutor, and the mayor here. But there's two observations I want to make, and I'm not an expert on this. The first is that I think we have to rededicate ourselves at the very beginning to all our children who are children of God, because that's how they begin. And we need to, I will share with you the reason I was late is because I absolutely wanted to be home for dinner tonight, because I wasn't sure how many times I was going to be home for dinner. So I went home because it was important for me to look at my children and hug them and talk to them before I came here. But that doesn't happen in every household. And we have to recognize that it doesn't happen in every household, and we have to find a way, using all of our resources and all of our hearts and all of our souls, to help in those places where it does not happen. Right. That said, there's a second part of the equation. Once things don't happen the way they're supposed to, and once someone chooses a life of drugs or a life of crime, particularly if it's one where they choose to hurt their neighbor, then there must be consequences. And the consequences have to be swift, they have to be predictable, and they have to, frankly, be such that people learn a lesson. And that the lesson is learned in the community, but also that the community feels safe. We cannot thrive as a community in this county if people do not feel safe in their homes, if they don't feel safe to walk the streets, if they don't feel safe to go to their work, if they don't feel safe to leave their children of the proper age, but their children at home. So I guess my message is that it really takes two parts of the equation. The first part of the equation is to give the love and the care and the supervision and the opportunities. And many children sometimes don't make it the first time, or the second time, or the third time. So we have to be focused on that. But once that does, if God forbid that doesn't succeed, and at the end, as adults, they come out and they're hurting people in their neighborhood or in their community, then there have to be consequences. And I don't mean to sound difficult or sound mean, but the reality is until everyone in this county feels equally safe, whether they live in the 3rd Ward in Millville or the 6th Ward in Vineland or Hopewell or Upper Deerfield or wherever, every resident has the absolute right to feel equally safe in their community without regard to where they live, what color they are, how much money they make, or whatever. We all have that right as Americans. So we need to work together. And I'm committed here on behalf of the county to do what we can do, to give the resources that we can give. I am hopeful. I don't know if there's anyone here from Congressman Lobiando's office, but I will also say that we've got the city, the county, and the state partners, but we need the federal partners here. If they can, I'm going to do a little bit of politics here. If they can make the streets of Iraq safer, they certainly can make the streets of Millville safer.